or endurance spiritually, you know? And we have to really look at that. Sometimes we want to give up because of the challenges of life, but here the text encourages us this morning that we have to endure. And then by enduring and believing, then we will have eternal life.
If you would look at the week of the 10 days of prayer, it is calling us not to rebuild the family altar, the altar. But it's not only the family altar, we, our individual, our spiritual altar with God need to be rebuilt. So with us, with this lesson, we have to be rebuilding each day with God, communicate, talking, in a relationship. Just like how we would build a relationship with our loved one. God is there with us, and He is the greatest lover of our life, who never failed us and who will always be there for us through thick and thin. Paul said, what I say, Paul said, I am ready, the last reading in Sunday. Paul said, I am ready because I have fought a good fight, I have finished my course, I have kept the faith. Paul's thought was already very clear that salvation is by faith alone, not by the deeds or of the law. And so here is it, not so somehow looking at his work of achievement as earning him merit with God. The crown of righteousness awaiting him is the righteousness of Jesus, which Paul by faith has claimed for himself and has held on to it until this end of his life. So it is not by work that we are going to save, it is the gift of God. It is through Jesus that we are going to save. Yet, we still have to play our part that Jesus can save us. Monday, hearken diligently. The book of Deuteronomy is printed with version of Moses' farewell message to the second generation of Israelite followers, the 40 years of wandering in the wilderness. These messages were given on the plain of Moab, just east of Jericho. Deuteronomy has been appropriately called the book of remembrance. So in Deuteronomy, it's pronounced a blessing. The first part pronounced a blessing from God's people. To the Israelite back then, it is also for us today because we are the spiritual Israelite today. We are the one that God has chosen to lead, to carry the message of hope to the world. So it is a blessing of obedience. Moses said, if you obey the voice, if you hearken diligently, if you walk in the way that God has started, the way that God has led you, if you will not turn to the left or turn to the right, but you will focus on God's strength, communicate with God daily and be obedient to Him, then God said He will bless you. He will bless you in everything that you do. Your life will stop. Your family will be blessed. But if you turn away from God, God will pronounce a curse upon you, and you will suffer the consequences, which is death. So here God presents before us blessing and cursing, life and death. It is either you're going to choose life or you're going to choose death. But hear what God is saying to you. God prefer that you will choose life because God wants to save you and He wants you to be in His kingdom. Sister Penny.
What about those who you see are very blessed, but these are not commandment keepers? These are not people who are obeying the word of God or studying the word of God diligently. What would you say about those blessings?
God's mercy is to all. He said, He send the rain and the just and the unjust. He do not withhold His blessing from anyone. And those who out there in the world, they do not know. Many of them do not really understand the whole meaning of salvation. But when it comes to Israel, the church, we understand because we have the word of God, we have the spirit of prophecy, we have so much guidance from God. So God is really speaking to the church for us to choose Him and walk in His way. And when we live that life to God and be faithful to Him, then our life also will draw those who are blessed by God outside in the world to come to Him. And even though many of them will not come, because many of them will say that they achieve it. But as the text says, God sent the rain and the just and the unjust. So He will always send His blessing upon everyone. That is the God that we serve. You know?
All blessings come from God.
No, not all blessing come from God. Not all blessing come from God. Because some of the things that they do is not from God. And Satan do bless people. He do like people to make it look like he has everything and he has them under his control to hold them. But the right blessing, really true, gift from God is coming. Because he would not hold, as he says, he send the rain in the harvest time and in the time to reap. So with God blessing to all. My sister.
So is it safe to say that if all blessing does not come from God, then that the devil can do the same, right?
Yes, you can.
So it is not safe to say that people that is in the world and is having everything is because of God. It can be otherwise.
Yes, it can be otherwise. Yes, it can be otherwise because if you look in the world today, there is so much people talking about wealth, and the aluminium. They are a society and they present you riches. They say you want to travel the world and all those things. You can be rich and famous. You don't have to sit in church and struggle because they're going to tell you, say, God present the blessing and He is rich for you to prosper. But is this prosperity is from God? Does God allow this prosperity? When God is blessing us as a church, He doesn't give us the blessing to hold for ourselves. And I see my brother and my sister there struggling, and I take it and I put down my bond and I build a bigger one. And I see my brothers and my sisters struggling. And then I come to church Sabbath, Wednesday, and Sunday night, and I sing, Holy, praise the Lord, and all these things. All these songs, and then saying that I am worshiping God. No. And that is not how God's work. When we look, God give us a blessing to share with my brothers and my sisters. Not for me to keep it for myself and to be selfish, not to be greedy, but that I should reach out to those around me in my church and even in my community so that they too will receive the blessing that God has in store for them. We move on. More comments on Monday? Okay, let me see. Moses was very eager for the people to understand that God had wonderful, even miraculous blessing in mind for them. His word, if you shall hearken diligently, let them know that their eternal destiny was at stake here. What a powerful manifestation of the reality of free choice. They were God's chosen nation, recipients of great blessing and great promise. But these blessings and promises were not unconditional. They needed to be accepted, received, and acted upon. So, as God gives us His promise, He expects us to act upon it. He doesn't expect us to sit down like the servant that He had given the talent to went and dig it and hide it. No, God expects us to expand on it and share His gift with others. Honor the Lord. How do we honor the Lord? How do we honor God? The book of Proverbs is not so much about right and wrong. It is about wisdom and foolishness. As one reads through the book, one will see the benefit of wisdom and the fall of foolishness. So, how do we honor God? In our faithfulness to God, yes, and so God must be first in everything we do. First, in the morning when we wake up, we must take time out for God. First, in the right throughout the day, we keep God ever before us. And as we put God first, God will work for us in such a way that we will not understand God's leading in our life. God asks us to put Him first in the management of our passionate position as an acknowledgement of His own ownership of all things life, and as a demonstration of our faith in Him to provide for us. But even more than this, we say that if we will put Him first, then He will bless what's left for us to do this. What is it? What is to put Him first is an act of faith